What we do here is go back.
Until I looked at the
By the way.
But BTW, yes. So I guess this is a fitness panel, so I've been told. All right, well I do know fitnessy things, so I guess just if you have questions, we can just kind of...
20 push-ups right now.
That's not a question, that's a statement. Yeah.
What kind of regime do you follow right now? Do you have like do you eat clean, or are you on a specific kind of diet, or?
So I like to do more of what's known as intuitive eating, where you listen to your body, like, not, oh, my body wants sugar. You don't then just go eat a bunch of sugar. So you kind of have like a baseline, but I don't like calorie track or anything right now. I listen to my body when I'm hungry. If I start feeling hungry, I'll drink water or tea first to see if I'm actually hungry or dehydrated. Your body has a hard time differentiating. So I always recommend if people are trying to lose weight, like when you first wake up, drink a glass of water, again, or some kind of beverage that's no calories, just so your body can be like, and then wait 10 to 15 minutes to see if you're actually hungry. And then that can help you deter versus, oh, I'm just always hungry all the time. And then I try to eat foods that have like high fiber. So I'll do at home water with a quarter of a lemon squeezed in and chia seeds that I put in overnight, so it gets nice and gelatinous, and the fiber from the chia seed helps take space up too. And then I do high protein breakfast, like 3 eggs, that kind of thing, 3 to 6 actually, but with hummus or Greek yogurt on the side. Sometimes avocado toast. I'm not zero carb or anything like that. If I'm doing a photo shoot, I'll go lower carb, just because carbs store water weight, and water weight can make you look bloated.
So you cut?
Yeah, I mean, not even like crazy. Like, if I need like, oh, you need to be like as shirtless and as buff as possible, then maybe I'll cut, to like 30 grams or so, and then try to avoid dairy so you don't have the bloating from that as well during like 2 weeks. Yeah, but normally like I'll eat it. Like this morning, so far today I've had pesto panini with turkey, because like, again, I have to eat where I am. I'm not going to be that guy like, oh no, bring me an organic chicken, like whatever. So I ate that, and then I had a protein bar and 2 cups of tea so far. And that's what I've...
And a yogurt.
And a yogurt, you're right. I was like, there's something else in there. Because I wanted to go back and get an omelet, but they closed the a la carte breakfast. So it was either that or a croissant. I was like, well, yogurt's healthier, so...
I eat omelets for lunch all the time.
Yeah. So, I like keeping my protein up, but in regards to like, do you eat this many calories? If I had to guess, I'm probably at like 3,000 to 3,500 a day, but I also work out a ridiculous amount, like a lot. I work out 6 days a week. Saturday's my 1 day off. So, yeah.
But they say muscle weighs more than fat, right? So.
Well, muscle weighs the same as fat. If you have a pound of fat and a pound of muscle, they're both a pound. Muscle's more dense, so it's like holding a piece of gold. Like it will weigh more versus something that's bigger, but technically a pound is a pound.
I've thought of it that way.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the keto diet?
For short term, or if you have epilepsy, which is like one of the reasons it was initially created, like it helps with for whatever reason, I don't know the medical side of why it helps, but it does. But for as like a long-term health thing, I don't find it necessarily sustainable for the planet. Like if we all went keto, that would destroy the earth. Like if we're all eating just meats and just cheese, like every meal, all the time. But again, like if you're trying to get on a healthy side of eating and you want to cut out sugar, I've done keto. I don't think it's bad, again, for short term. Or again, if you want to do a photo shoot or something. But for your everyday, it's not the only way to be in shape. I think we were meant to eat carbs. I mean, I feel like, again, like I come from a Christian faith, so I feel like God made things to eat that are plant-based, and if you never eat them, I don't think that's the way to go per se. But to each
That's
their
how it
own.
all started, right? Because they started the Garden of Eden, right?
Yeah, like plants and vegetables, that's fruits, that kind of thing, So like I'm a selective meat eater, also known as a flexitarian, so I eat chicken, turkey, and fish, but that's it. I don't eat shellfish, I don't eat pork, I don't eat lamb, I don't eat beef. Yeah.
Is there a reason why?
My dad he raised me Seventh-day Adventist. I'm not SDA, I'm just non-denominational, but they follow the Old Testament eating style, the Jewish side, more tradition. New Testament is like, if whatever you eat it to God, but if you don't eat it to God. So I'm more of that mindset, but I just grew up not eating it so much. I'd rather eat less meat anyway, so I just use it as a easy way to continue to eat less meat.
I think the new Canada Food Guide would agree with you on that one.
Yeah, it's like, they eat beef though. I actually gave up beef because when I was in college, I took a semester of ballet, and one of the ballerinas challenged me to give up beef for a month to like feel more energy or whatever, and then I ended up just giving it up and I never ate it again. So Yeah.
Wow.
I like your game.
It's got magnets in it, so I'll stick it on the front of my Jeep and drive
Oh,
around.
yes.
Yeah,
So cool.
It's great. I was curious, there's like a million different schools of thought on working out and whatnot. What sort of, 6 days a week?
Sure.
What sort of things do you do? Like, some people are like, you got to do every muscle group every day,
Mhm.
or some are like, do like arms this day and like legs this day.
I don't do split routines myself with like upper body, lower body, because personally, unless you're a bodybuilder, I get it, because like that's the formula that works to let you get the maximum amount for size. Being an actor, I'm not trying to Hulk out.
Yeah.
I sound young when I shave, and like I put on high school age clothes, I look young, so I go up for young roles sometimes. If I hulked out, I'd be like, hey guys, and like it just doesn't work for what I'm doing right now. But for me, I'll do full body, because my thing is like, when was the last time you woke up and you just used your legs that day? Or just use your arms? You always use some of everything. So when I do strength, I do it 3 days a week, every other day. So for me, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that's full body. I start with compound movements. So compound as in multiple muscle joints, multiple joints, multiple muscles. So instead of doing bicep curl, which is your elbow joint, I'll do pull-ups or chin-ups first, which is elbow and shoulder joint. Or I'll do squats, which is your ankle joint, your knee joint, and your hip joint, before I do calf raises, that kind of thing. Because like if you did tricep extension, which is a single joint, and then you went to bench press, which is multi-joint, it uses your elbow and your shoulder,
Yeah.
you would tire out and you wouldn't be able to target your chest as much, because your triceps support bench press. But if your triceps are already dead from doing that first, you can't bench as much. So I do bigger groups and work down. And the days off from lifting, I do cardio those days. So 3 days of strength, 3 days of cardio, but the cardio days is not only running. Some days, that's more like my free kind of something else day. One day it might be tumbling for 2 hours. One day I might take a yoga class, which I know isn't technically cardio. Or I might go rock climb that day. It's kind of more my free-for-all, athletic, non-weightlifting, calisthenics something day. And then I stretch 6 days a week, but I stretch more on the days that I'm not weightlifting.
I was going to say about yoga, even though it's not specifically cardio, it is that stretching, because
Yeah.
it's the word I'm looking for. The ability to use your joints and move them without
Range of motion, or mobility.
motion and flexibility is really important.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm all about mobility. Honestly, I tried to muscle everything when I first joined the circus. I was a kid when I came back as a 17-year-old, and I've kind of been in it ever since when filming is allowed. I was like really into weightlifting, and I just had no mobility, but I could muscle into all these poses. And once I realized that flexibility and mobility lets you get into the full range easier, so it should be your foundation. Like if you're about to start working out, I recommend getting that mobility first. So if your shoulders only go to here, get them to go all the way back and start building muscle in your full range of motion versus strengthening it here. And now you can only lift to here. So now your posture is going to be screwed up because you're reinforcing it to not go where it's supposed to go. So things like that. So like I like being able to do my splits and things like that. Right now I'm actually dealing with like a pulled hamstring a little bit because I've been practicing martial art kicks, and even though I have the splits, sometimes when you snap it, like it's just too much. But I still stretch. Like I'm careful with it. I can still work out and everything, but I can't quite hit that. I could force it, but then I pull it again. So it's like, unless someone really needs it for a photo shoot, it's like I'm just gonna not do my splits right now.
Can I ask a Power Ranger question?
Go for it.
What was your favorite moment from Dino Charge?
As in the first season, or both, Dino Supercharge, or whatever?
Whatever you want to talk about.
My favorite moment. That's hard because, on Power Rangers, it was the first time I got to be this character for more than because I recurred on a couple of other shows, but I've never been the same character for so long. So I really got to take a journey with Tyler, and it's hard to it's like saying what was your favorite day in your life, Brennan? Okay, being married, that kind of thing, but there are days I enjoy just as much as another day. It's really hard to be this was you know what I mean? But episode-wise, it was always fun when I got to do fight scenes. I loved hanging out with the stunt guys and actually go train with them after hours when we wrapped. And we weren't really supposed to in case we got injured, but if I happened to be at the gym that they were training at, they couldn't stop me from coming into the gym. So I went into the gym, and I'd sometimes walk over and be like, how do you do this move? And maybe sometimes hypothetically tell me how or whatever. So that stuff, anytime I got to do physical activity was always my things.
Well, that's
I would
because what I always
discuss
read
that.
is I always read that you guys, well, that most of the Power Ranger characters were, it was most all the stunt guys that did all the stuff in costume,
Mhm.
and you guys just strictly did like the street
The
fighting
civilian
scenes.
fights, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's two reasons for that. One is the Sentai footage. It's shot in Japan. They use a lot of it already. They're not going to reshoot a fight if they can already just have us dub it. The other reason, to save time, and in case I guess there's three reasons. Time, and then if we got injured. As bad as it sounds, like the stunt guys could be more easily replaced than we could. Like if I broke my leg, now all my scenes have to have me seated or cheated so it looks like I'm standing. Versus if a stunt guy hurt himself, I love them and I think they're on equal status, but they are in a suit, you never see their face. So you just get someone else who's the same build. So, and then time-wise, we shot 2 units. Typically every day there was like a first unit, a second unit being the stunt unit. So they would be off, doing all the suit stuff while we did all the civilian acting and sometimes fights. Or when we did civilian fights, we were actually on the second unit. And those were fun days because they shot so much faster. Because I feel like a lot of like the directors who are getting like the acting and emotion, they want it, like they have a certain idea and they want it, 30 takes or whatever. The stunt guys, you do it well twice, they don't care, move on. Like, they get it, they got it. Like, they don't need to like, oh, but your finger was, like, they trust, but because we have the ability and film is digital now, it's not as much money to keep rolling. They just would keep shooting until it was perfect. And you're like, oh my gosh, take 13 was fine. Like, come on, let's just move on with our lives. So being on the stunt unit was really cool.
So if you could go back to another time in Power Rangers history, where would you want to go back and why?
Like to be on another season?
Yeah, like any other, Dino Charge, Dino Morphin, like whatever.
Time Force would be cool because being on Time Force technically gives you the ability to time travel and then you could keep being on other seasons. So, loophole, I'll do that. I mean, we kind of time traveled in ours too, but like a little more complicated getting all the 10 Energems and blah, 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 versus just like, get in this ship and it will take you there. Yeah.
What would be like a move that you've been practicing as hard as you can to do that particular stunt, but you still haven't achieved yet? Like, do you have anything?
Right now I'm working on what's known as a corkscrew or a cork. It's like a tricking move where you kind of like, you either J-step into it or you can kind of pivot step where you face one direction, then turn, and your right leg swings up, and then you do a full twist and then land. I have landed it before, like multiple times now. I landed it 3 times last week at the gym, but then I lost it. And it's like, it keeps coming and going, and I'm afraid to try it on a non-tumbling floor because I don't land them all the time. It's a very not good way to fall if you're not gonna land it. And you can't have someone spot you because you're twisting, so it's like, you just have to do it. It's not like a backflip where I can keep you safe and like keep your head off the floor. If you don't land a B-twist or a cork or whatever, you just crash. So that's the trick like I don't have yet, and it's annoying me because I've done it, I have it on film, it just, sometimes and other times it's not there. And it's like, come on, just get it. So that, yeah, tornadoes. I'm working on 540s right now,
Oh, wow.
but yeah, tornadoes I have, but yeah.
Well, I did have keto, so
Okay, cool.
I only got up to brown belt.
That's okay. Black belt, whatever.
If you could spar with any Power Ranger, like in like a little fun little match, who do you think Tyler would face?
Who do I think he would face? Huh. Well, that's hard. I mean, like, storyline wise, like, they would just happen to fight each other because, or am I just choosing who I want to fight?
I don't know. I think, if that conflict ever comes about, yeah, I think they'll probably just go at it.
That'll turn you evil, kind of like the Green Ranger versus the White Ranger, right?
Sure. I mean, I feel like Xenowing and him almost fought, before Xenowing got the whole teamwork thing in his mind. So that's from my own season, though. So, but from another season, hello.
Hello, yes indeed.
I don't know who. I mean, I would like to fight Tommy, not because he's evil, but because I think Tyler could learn a lot from him. And so you learn through experience sometimes. So if it's a friendly sparring thing, I think choose the one who can teach, the most. We're just doing questions, whether fitness or Power Rangers or whatever. It's a fitness panel, but there's also rangery things. So yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to just
So after you kind of filmed your season, have you gone back and watched the others just for fun, or is there one a season that you liked more? Or?
I did homework. So I grew up watching like from Mighty Morphin through about Lost Galaxy or so, and then I've seen a couple others. And then when I booked it, I went back and started watching like 3 episodes of this season and that season, and I watched all of Time Force, and I watched a bunch of Mighty Morphin again, and then I watched all of Mega Force because that was the one right before mine, or Super Mega Force, whatever you want to call it, Super blah blah blah. And then I watched Kyoryuger, the Japanese version of mine. But afterwards, I've only seen a couple of Ninja Steel. I watched their team up episode. I was actually almost in that episode initially, but it just happened. It just took one of us back. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I haven't seen like all of Ninja Steel. I want to see some Beast Morphers though, because why not? Like I want to hear the theme song. Theme songs are what gets me into like a show. The Ninja Steel was cool, but it wasn't like quite my jam, you know. Mm-hmm. But like Dino Charge had a cool theme song. Like, it was tribal.
Yeah, there was a catchy riff going on.
For sure. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, but we don't even know when Beast Morpher airs. Like they haven't told us yet. So.
I think probably in the spring, probably.
Maybe. I mean, Dino Charge aired anniversary-wise a couple days ago. So, I mean, I don't know when Beast Morpher is coming out. Yeah.
I don't think it was ever mentioned in the series. I probably missed it maybe if they did. How old were your characters supposed to be? Because you weren't exactly in high school. You were working at the museum. But...
I put Tyler at 18 when filming started. I mean, just for my own backstory, that's what I made him age-wise. It said we were teenagers, so I couldn't be any older than 19. So, but if I'm out of school, then I'm not 17. So it's like 18's a good age. You know, he's an adult, so he's not like he ditched high school. So, you know, he's still telling kids to be educated, at least through high school. College, I don't know. He just works at a cafe / museum / dinosaur daycare zoo place now. But you know, whatever floats his boat. Yeah.
Did you watch the Japanese version of your series before to prepare for it?
I did.
And were you like, am I going to have to do the dance?
I wasn't opposed, actually. Okay, so I started watching it basically right when I got to New Zealand. We had stunt training with the Japanese stunt doubles, and my stunt double gave me Kyoryuger to watch. So it was like,
All right, cool.
I may have filmed like 1 episode or 2 before I finished all of Kyoryuger, but like it was in that time I was imbibing Daigo, and then I thought my character had like Clark Kent from Smallville kind of vibes to him. So like those were 2 that I kind of based my character off of, and then just myself, because I'm very similar energy-wise to Tyler. I'm just like very bombastic, and I talk a lot, and I'm always wanting to do adventurous and athletic things. So that part wasn't hard. I'm not an archaeologist or something, but I do like adventures. I like hiking, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
What was the longest episode for you to film? I guess for you, like the longest that you've had is like, oh, how is this?
Yeah, well, honestly, the first episode, or maybe the first blocks, the first 3 episodes, whether it was second or third, I don't remember, when we first went into our base and like discovered it and saw Keeper and everything, we had to reshoot for some reason part of that episode. And overall, that like 3 minutes in the base that you just like see us go in and like find the crystal bed and stuff took like 16 hours or something like that. And so it's such a small amount of like, why would that take so long? It wasn't like there's fancy fighting or anything in there, but it took forever. It just like this angle, that angle, gotta move the crystal bay so we can shoot through the crystal bay and blah, 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 and like lighting. And it's just like, it takes so long sometimes. You're like, oh my gosh, let me go home and sleep. Sleep deprivation was a thing. Like you were just tired all the time. Because I didn't drink coffee at the time, like at all. So the most caffeine I would have would be like from a bar of chocolate. And so I was just like not prepared to not have sleep because I work out so much. Rest is the other part. Like it's rest, nutrition, and the actual exercise. People will do 2 of them, but they seldom do all 3. Like, oh, I exercise a lot, but I eat like crap, so why am I not in shape? Oh, you know, I train a lot, but I don't sleep, so why am I so lethargic? Like, my muscles aren't repairing themselves because you're overtraining. Like, so I tried to sleep, and I couldn't, and it was not fun.
Somebody always told me that you can't outrun a bad diet.
You can't. You can't outwork a bad diet. You know, abs are made in the kitchen, totally, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, genetics help, but at the end of the day, that's like saying the only way to be rich is if you inherited money. It helps if you inherit it, but it's not the only way to make money. Like, you can go work yourself. Like, it's still possible. Yeah.
What kind of jams do you listen to at the gym, or do you just work out Sans music?
I listen to a lot of classic rock or anime music because I'm a dork. So My Hero Academia, I listen to that a lot. I'll listen to Dino Charge sometimes. I like listening to the Eagles, Journey, DC Talk, Toby Mac, Styx, Linkin Park. Yeah.
That's my jam.
Right. I have a pretty eclectic mix. You know, I have the Kyoryuger soundtrack. I listen to that too. Yeah.
He just approves. So
No, I love your
Sure, it's good, right? I
No,
know.
that's great.
Yeah, so I have that. Yeah, but whatever kind of floats my boat that day. And I'll get random songs too, like that are, I don't know, they're kind of nostalgic for different, like in my circus, they did an act in the Navy, like in the Navy, like for, you know, so like I have that song and I'll listen to it and it's like really dumb. I'm like, in the Navy. You know, so yeah, just whatever. Moana, you know, Frozen, if I have to let it go. Sometimes it's just like, let's go. I'm gonna have that song too, but Let It Go and Let's Go. Let's Go is not by Disney though.
What's your favorite anime?
Favorite. Do you count Avatar: The Last Airbender as an anime?
Well, in this conversation, sure.
yeah.
Then I would say Avatar: The Last Airbender. If I can count that, I would say that. I Want to Be Sokka in the live adaptation on Netflix that they're making. If we're not counting that, I like Shippuden.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Yeah, My Hero Academia right now out of the newer ones. I'm watching, what was it? The one time I got reincarnated as a slime.
I heard that was supposed to be really
It is good. It's just ridiculous. You're like, what is that? So I like that one. I was told recently to watch Boruto by a couple of different people. So I just haven't. I've watched Shippuden and I was like, oh, if I watch Kid, you know.
Yeah.
But I've heard like it's not bad, so maybe I'll give it a go. I'm trying to catch up. Bleach I know is over already, but I've only seen 3.5 seasons, so I'm catching up on Bleach. So that's really it right now. I don't have infinite time to like, it's like an episode here, episode there. I'm watching Young Justice while I'm in Canada because we don't have it on Netflix. Yeah, we don't have Titans on Netflix either. I don't want to pay for the DC thing, so I was like, I'll watch it while I'm in Canada, and it's not illegal. So, yeah.
So it's true that Titan
Titans.
is only on Netflix in Canada, but not the States.
Yeah, it's a separate streaming service they have to pay to. Like I have a Netflix membership, but I don't want the DC membership and Netflix and Hulu and blah blah blah. So
Disney's starting to do that now.
Then
Yeah.
again, in the States,
Yeah.
they have different stuff that we can't get over here, so it's
Daredevil and all
a
that kind of stuff on there.
catch-22.
we still have it on our
Fair
Netflix in America right now, but it probably will. Yeah, I already watched Daredevil. So it's okay.
Oh, man, Bird Box, no.
You canceled them.
I know, it's a bummer. I like Daredevil. Hopefully another network will pick it up at some point.
So if I know that you like anime, here's a very odd question. If you could pick any anime series to go into this world, but you're not the main character, you're just in this world, which would it be?
In the world.
Like, you
Like,
could
but
go
am
to
I
the-
in the world as like a Saiyan if I'm in it, or do I have to be a human? Like, if I'm a human in the Goku world, forget it.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck.
no. I'm not gonna- like, then I'll just go to like Naruto's world because they're all humans essentially, and then like I could actually learn stuff,
You just go ninja
I think
school.
you're
right? Yeah.
Those are the questions you have to figure out. You go to Dragon Ball, you're actually a Saiyan or a human, or you go to Naruto, you can be a ninja. Or
Well, if I get to be in the Dragon Ball world, like if I get to be a Saiyan, then cool, let's do that. If not, if I can go to the Avatar world and be a bender, like then yeah. But if I'm just a human who's not a bender, like Sokka, like I want to play Sokka on TV because I look like him, but I want to be a bender if I'm actually in that world. Like, come on.
which bender?
Yeah, which bender?
I always love water, but I feel like air, if you really have the choice, is the most practical because you don't need to carry it with you. Same with fire, but like, if you're like being really mean as a bender, you can take the air out of someone's throat and like kill them. I mean, seriously, like if you're fighting for your life, you can like make them pass. You don't have to kill them, just make them pass out. Like, okay, no oxygen for you. Like, Aang could have won every fight in 2 seconds.
Same with bloodbending, you can just
And a full moon,
torture.
though. Unless it's the Korra version, you have that special power.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I could bloodbend at all times, then okay, I'm cool with waterbending again. But if I can't, then probably air.
Here I'm thinking, yeah, airbending, you can fly, but okay, suck in the air into somebody's lungs, that works too.
I'm just saying, like, as a practical fighting style, I feel like that would be like to fight multiple people at once. You know, you could like make an air sword. Like he didn't do it, but like one of the episodes, he said, "Oh, this is like an airbending sword. Like you make air out of this, you go." Whoosh, and then he fell over because he's wearing armor. Anyway, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true. He does. Yeah. So that's that. What else? What else you got for me?
superhero would you want to play if you had the chance?
Right now, playing heroes that I actually potentially have a chance to because of how I look-ish person, Blue Beetle would be awesome. Because they're actually, they're going to start casting that soon. So I'm trying to get an audition for Blue Beetle. Because he's Latino, and I'm like, yo guys, I am Latino. So, yeah. I'd go that route. Again, or Sokka. Like, he's not a superhero, but he's a hero. Like, what makes you super? Having a power, I guess? Like, I don't know. Batman's a superhero, right? Yeah. But, Sokka's so cool. Yeah. He's high energy, I'm high energy. It's cool. It works.
Have they already started casting for the new live action series?
No, they haven't.
Would you try to audition for it?
I will when they do. Yeah. But I don't know. They might go younger. Like I don't actually. Sokka's what, like 16, 17 in it or something like that. But they could obviously change his age. So we'll see. It depends what race they want to make each thing. Like he's dark skinned, but what is he actually? I don't know. Like. Is he Latino? I don't think he's technically. Probably not. Maybe some kind of islander. But
Asian, you never know, right?
yeah, but like him and Katara are both dark. So like I don't
They're supposed
know
to be
what-
native,
Native what?
in the series.
Like are they
like Alaskans or something?
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But if they let me do it, I'll do it. Like I shoot. Yeah. I want to fly around on a bison and stuff on TV. That's cool. So right.
So one question I always wanted to know is, so you were in New Zealand, I think, for 9 months, right?
At like 8-ish, 9-ish,
months?
something like that.
So what did you guys do for downtime? I don't know why. I always had like the idea that you weren't allowed to use like the internet like on reality TV. I don't know why. I always thought it was like that. Where it's like, nah, no internet for you, nothing from the outside world. Like, what did you guys do for fun, like downtime?
Sure. So we worked 5 days a week filming, and then 1 day a week of doing ADR. So we had 1 day off a week,
Okay.
truly. But I mean, like the ADR only took a couple hours. So you could say like we had a day and a half off each week. By the time we got home on normal days, we were so tired it was like work out and go to sleep. But the other day and a half, we would have to grocery shop. And I eventually rented a car while I was down there. At first I didn't, so it was hard to get around. Like our grocery store was like a mile or something away, but like down this crazy big hill, but walking back up with groceries was stupid, like not fun. So I found a circus school while I was there, so I trained there a couple times, because I do acrobatics. I would go to open gym and train with the stunt team. And when we had like time off for like Easter and stuff, like a couple days, went further on the island, like Rotorua, walked like volcanic trails and things. And I went to the South Island on my honeymoon and went to Queenstown and like just explored that area and like natural hot springs and things. It's a beautiful place. Like they have this place called Hot Water Beach where there's like a hot springs buried under the sand right next to the ocean. So you literally have the ocean like a beach, but you can dig a moat and literally make yourself a hot springs and then like have cold water coming in if it gets too hot.
Make
There's
your own
a-
hot tub, yeah.
Yeah, you could, but like you'd have to find a spot and dig, and then other people like places rented you shovels. Like this is so popular there. Then there's Hot and Cold, which is like a river, but like a slow river that you can go in, and literally you can be in like one part of it and it's cold water. You put half of your body over to the side and you're now in hot water. So you can like stand in both temperatures at the same time, which is crazy. So, but don't put your head under that water because I think they have like the microorganism that like eats your brain or something.
Dude, have a try.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
So, what would be the coolest souvenir you have from your series?
Well, I have the Energem. This isn't the one from the show because I don't like that one getting damaged. It's made of resin, and like if I put it against my skin, sometimes like it can get a little. It loses some of the coloring. So that was really cool. And then I got to keep the bracelet from the show, and I got to keep like the jacket, like the pants. Yeah, just a couple things like that. I got to keep one Dino Charger, but I went to a friend's birthday party for his. Well, it was his kid's birthday party. He's like, "Hey, my son's a fan of yours. You mind coming by?" I was like, "Sure." So I went, and I showed the kid the Dino Charger. I was like, "You want to take a picture with it?" He's like, "Yeah, cool." And then he took it and left. And I was like, "Oh, I can't just take it on his birthday." So I let him keep it.
You could have stolen something from the show, what would you want it to take? But you couldn't.
The suit. I mean, I have my own that I got made, but I would have taken the suit. I would have taken my T-Rex Smasher. I would have taken the helmet. Yeah, you know, that stuff. But I got the Energem and the bracelet, which are cool. So. How was the suit to wear, guys?
I'm good.
Comfortable,
I mean-
uncomfortable?
I have to pee a lot.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
annoying
that's
because I
a
drink a lot of
problem.
water. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Gotta get everything off.
That's the most annoying thing. And then you can't, like, sometimes texting works in the gloves and sometimes it does not at all for you. Like, I can, like,
No.
sometimes click.
I feel like really use a lot
Yeah.
of passion to like get your fingers in there. Yeah. No.
Yeah. You know, my suit is difficult. Just there's so many pieces. Like, I have armor on my shoulder. I have this belt buckle that, like, you have to hold in place, but I didn't want to actually get the Velcro on the actual stomach of the suit because I didn't want it to tear because I don't have a team of, you know, people who do this to fix it when it gets damaged. So mine is, once it's damaged, I have to pay for it to get fixed. So it's more for photo ops and usability and walking around all day.
Have you ever? Sorry.
Go first.
Oh. I was gonna say, have you ever dressed up as your character for Halloween? Yeah.
I was hired by a church a couple times. I mean, I tried to just do it for free and they wouldn't let me because I'm friends with the pastor. I was like, guys, I will just come and do this for free. So they had like a block party and they were like, take a picture with the Red Ranger. So I dressed up for that for 2 Halloweens in my suit. But last year I was Spider-Man from PS4 because I got like the legit suit
Nice.
from RPC Studios. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, but typically I don't walk around in it unless there's a reason. One time in my circus, it's a youth circus, and they had a superhero theme last year, and I needed a cover for my dad, who was, I think it was Black Panther in it, but I didn't fit in his suit, and they're like, well, just wear your Power Ranger suit. So I did his part in my suit for that one day, or night that he was gone. Yeah. What was your question?
Where did you get your internship from?
This one is from a jeweler named Ari, who makes a lot of, like, I met him at San Diego Comic-Con, super cool guy. His company makes like replica, like mini necklaces of like Thor's hammer and like Cap's shield, things like that. So this one he gave me as a gift. But my normal ones, I actually normally sell them, but I couldn't bring them all to Canada. But I sell them, like, if you DM me on Instagram, I still have some, so like you can buy one if you want.
Is it magnetic as well?
They're magnetic. They're not made of like rock crystal like this, but they're like the ones from the show. So they're magnetic, same size. They're scale to size, that kind of thing. I have a couple left. Well, I have a couple left in a display case that it comes with, but I have more that are just the necklace.
How much do you sell it for?
The box version is 100 plus shipping, and I believe just the necklace is 65 plus shipping.
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, just DM me on Instagram
Yeah.
or email me because my Instagram, I believe you can click and it has my email. Just you know, just keep spamming it until I see it because I get a lot of emails sometimes.
Yeah.
I try to get back when I see it. Yeah. What else? Anything else?
I'd be interested in hearing more about your circus adventures.
You have.
Well, so when I was a kid, my dad found this youth circus in my hometown. Well, actually, it was where I was born. I moved an hour away, but he would take my sister and I back to the circus when we were 3rd and 4th grade. Well, I wish she was older than me. It still is, technically. Anyway, getting off track. So I went to the circus, did handstands and like acro stuff, but I was like a little baby as a kid and like I didn't want to train all the time. So I was like, no, I don't want to drive in the car an hour, so let me just be lazy at home and play video games. And then when I graduated high school early to pursue acting and stuff, I moved back in with him, back in Redlands, and then the circus is there. And then I rejoined the circus, and now I teach and volunteer there. So the kids, like, you pay to take the classes, but everyone who teaches the classes are volunteers. And so like a lot of professional stunt people have come from my circus to enter, you know, stunts or TV and film and that kind of thing. So that's my passion, like that's what got me into fitness and everything. I perform professionally with American Acrobats and Cirque du
Soleil?
No, not Cirque du Soleil. Ray and Associates at the San Diego Zoo. Why am I blanking on their name? Cirque Mirage. I perform for them professionally. So I do some corporate events occasionally, but it's not like my main thing. I love training it, but it's just like I'd rather train to learn a skill than just lift weights to be buff. Like it's after a while. That's why I only do it 3 days a week because I get bored. I can't just do. Oh yeah, I used to curl 50, now I curl 52. Like, hooray! I'd rather be like, oh, I had a backflip, but now I can do a standing full. Like that's like you can see the difference. Not like, oh yeah, your vein is like slightly more defined now. Like good for you. Like good for you. If that's what you love, do it. But that's just not what gets me motivated. Like, I want a skill for my work. You know? So yeah, I do handstands, I do Chinese pole, I do aerial silks, I do unicycle, I juggle a bit, wire walking, partner acrobatics, a little bit of tumbling. So,
It's really
thanks.
Now, in some Q&As I've seen before for previous Power Rangers when they went for their audition, some had to do little martial arts skit or an acting part. For your audition, did you have to do either or?
Yes, both.
Both?
The first audition was just acting. Then the callback, you had to prepare like a 30-second to 60-second, some kind of physical demonstration. So I think I did handstands. And then the next audition, because we had 4 auditions, and then a 5th fake one, which is like, they just called us in to tell us we got the job. And then the next one, I also did hand balancing, but I did it on my post, like my equipment. And then like the final audition, they actually made us do a running, like to see how we run, if we look heroic when we run in the parking lot. Because some people, I guess, just do not run like in a heroic way, like, you know, and like you're always running like to a fight, away from a fight. And so if you're running and like, I don't want to do any like non-heroic runs, because like if that's your style, you own it. But they wanted a specific style of cadence with your steps, and so they had to see it. And then so I did like a backflip and some martial arts stuff in the final audition, and then they did a chemistry read where they like paired us with different other actors to see like how we looked on screen together. So like I actually did part of the chemistry read with Michael Tabor, because initially I read for red. That's redundant. I read for black, and I read for green, I believe. I never read for gold, and never read for blue. And then we did like a big chemistry read where I was in the room with Camille and Yoshi and Michael, I think. Claire, was she there? I don't remember. Like there's so many of us. Like the final day took like 12 hours to figure out who they wanted. Then we didn't hear anything for a month, so I was working at the San Diego Zoo, being an acrobat. And then I heard back that they were like, we need to see you one more time. I was like, why? You've seen me 4 times. You saw me 3 times when I auditioned for Samurai and didn't get it. You know who I am. Like, just book me or not. And then so I drove there, and I had to come back to the zoo because I had work every day. And then they're like, you got to like read this right away. Like it's a cold read. Like no time to prepare or anything. You just get the script and you go, which is really sucky as an actor. Like you want to like go out and like read it once through, like so you know what's happening. They're like, no. And so they're filming it, and so I was like, this is horrible. I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, and in it, like the other person talks about giving me a treasure chest that reveals my destiny or something. And so they gave me a chest, and I opened it, and it said, congratulations, you're the Red Ranger. So they set me up.
Yeah, I saw that at Power Morphicon.
Yeah.
Funny like blooper behind the scenes. That was amazing.
Yeah. So they did that to all of us. Yeah. Then Camille cried. Yoshi might have cried. I was just like, really? Really? It got higher pitched. Yeah. Good times.
Did you ever get to improv anything in
Yeah, in the first season, I was more scared, like, I better stick to exactly what they wrote. And then later on, I was like, do you mind if I say it this way? And they're like, sure. And then finally, like, so for instance, like the episode where I fight Doomwing one-on-one, to like try, so they can set up the things, like make him split from Xenowing. The part where Camille and I are like about to kiss and like Yoshi pops up, that part was kind of improv. And what did I say? Something like, oh, Coda, there you are, I was looking for you. Like that was improv, I just made that up. And then like when I wrote on my stomach run for the race with Michael running the marathon, and I was like, who's Nur? I made that up. You know, losing the wallet, I don't remember. No, that was written. Yeah, but the Nur thing was me, and then like, yeah. But primarily, like, it was at least, they set up the idea of what was to be said. If I changed the words a little bit, whatever, but I asked permission first. I didn't just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously you said that you start with like a certain group of rangers that you met at casting or whatever.
Mm.
But did you ever meet like some of the other ones that came in later to the series, like at that casting? Like did you meet?
Oh, like someone to be?
Yeah, who actually end up being on the show. Did you meet them?
No. I mean, I met Peter, Yoshi's brother, not at the audition though.
Yeah.
Even though he did audition, I believe, for Dino Charge too.
Yeah.
But I didn't meet him until afterwards.
Okay.
So.
Did you meet like the guy who played the Gray Ranger or like the Gold Ranger? Did you meet them in the same casting as you? Or
I met Davi once he moved to New Zealand. I met Jared because he was already in New Zealand. Because Jared and James were both Kiwis, so like they're from New Zealand. So Heckle is from, I don't know if he's from Australia. I think he's from Australia initially, but so yeah, he's in LA right now, I believe. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a chance to meet your Japanese counterpart?
No, but I want to. I want to shoot like a
Yoshi
YouTube.
met his, right?
Yeah, well, Yoshi went there.
Oh,
Kind of helps.
that's why you gotta go.
It's on the to-do list. Literally, like, okay, so I wanted to go to New Zealand, and I was like, I want to go to Canada, and I want to go to Japan. I've been to New Zealand, and I booked Supergirl, I went to Vancouver, and then I'm here again in Canada, obviously, right now. So Japan, I'm just like waiting, okay, God, like, you got me this. What's Japan? What's happening? The Olympics? Do I need to train? Is that how I get in? Like, because it's, yeah.
Tell him to bring you next time.
Like, seriously, I would love to go. And being able to shoot like a little YouTube video or something with him, just like, oh, like alternate dimensions, like there's another Dino Charge Red, like it'd be cool.
That would be actually a neat idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know about the Korean one?
I do. Dino Super something Brave. Yeah.
Yeah, Dino Force Brave.
Yeah, that.
What do you think about like the differences in these?
The suits look cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched it. I heard the episodes are shorter, right?
Yeah.
It's only like 13 episodes or something.
And
Yeah.
like aren't they short episodes? They're not 20 minutes. Or
I forget.
Someone told me they were shorter and shorter, like both ways. But I think that would be cool too, like if they adapted that for a third season, but there's not enough footage. I mean, they could reshoot stuff, but
Do you think they'll do any more like Dino Charge stuff later? Because in the comics, you know, Heckle's a ranger now.
it's
so.
true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that doesn't help me because I'm not Heckle. But I mean, there's always the possibility, but typically they just keep moving on because the Sentai keeps going, so they keep going. Whether they do a crossover or something, yeah, they could always bring someone back. But other than that, I don't think they'd be like, hey guys, we're doing season 3 of Dino Charge, you want in? I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, Japan, they do the reunion movies. I think like that could work, but
Well,
I know they typically don't do those in the.
but they could now, because like Saban wouldn't, because if memory serves, he bought the rights. Thanks. I'm just drink straight. I stay hydrated. He bought the rights just to the Sentai episodes, not their movies, and they didn't want to pay for the movie footage as well.
Right.
Hasbro, maybe they do want to pay for it. I don't know, but they could. Like, there are those movies; they exist. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool. What else? Yes.
You mentioned that you go to a gym or you do like your acrobatics. How would you find a gym that specializes in that? Because part of me thinks that like if you go to a gym trained for circuitry, that like half of those would not be legit. Maybe it's a circuit.
Well, I have no idea in Canada, but in California, circus is becoming more and more popular. The things you want to make sure, like if you're taking an aerial silks class or something, I would just inspect the rigging, because you never want to, basically as a performer, you want to make sure, like if you're doing something aerial wise, that, even if you don't have like a certification in rigging, like eyeball it, like does it look like that beam would support your weight if you did a drop? Climbing up is not going to pull as much as you falling and then catching yourself at the bottom. It's your life at the end of the day. Do you want to trust someone else who put it up there, or, you know, like that kind of stuff. Like you get asked, like how old's the rigging, how old's the wood, like blah, 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 how old is this silk, like what about this tear I kind of see, like if they can answer those questions and they seem pretty competent, you know, and then like watch, a lot of them will have like shows that they do to showcase like their performers. Are they good? Like that's one way to know if it's a legit school. Maybe they just poached a good person, and that happens too. But that good person being there typically raises the level of the other students. So whether they taught that person to be good or not, that student ultimately will teach other people to be good. And then it kind of just makes everyone else better. You know, Montreal, like for sure is like Cirque du Soleil, so you guys have really good circus people if you go that way. I know that's not here, but I don't know of the ones that are local. I know in Toronto there are stunt places. I actually met a stunt guy who teaches out there. And so like you can learn like fighting and stuff and falls and all that jazz. Not necessarily circus, but you know, it's all relative to a degree.
Okay, I have another crossover.
I have another answer.
Okay. If you're a Dino Charge team teamed up with any superhero from like Marvel or DC, who would it be? Who you like to work with?
Marvel or DC? Well, they already did Superman, you know, like the Justice League with like Mighty Morphin. So throw us with Young Justice. That's cool. I'm down for that. Why not? Yeah. Nightwing. Yeah. Like he's from a circus. I'm from a circus. Like I totally talk shop. You know what I mean? So. I'd go
Well,
that way.
Dick Grayson, Robin, he came from a circus family.
That's what I'm
so-
talking about. Yeah. Well, he becomes Nightwing later. But yeah.
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 So that. I'd say that. I mean, I like Marvel too, but I grew up more on DC. The Marvel movies are great, but the DC cartoons, I love them. Like, okay, the Marvel, it's not bad. But I love that DC doesn't kill. Like, you know, they have all this power, but they do their best to always not kill someone. Hulk don't care. You and Hulk's wife, he kills you. Like, no problem. Like Wolverine, he will kill you. Like, yeah, I like that they don't kill. Yeah.
You have a favorite movie, say Marvel or DC currently right now?
I mean, Avengers was amazing. Like, you know, I mean, the newest, all of them are, but Black Panther, phenomenal. You know, the effects in Black Panther, because they talk like, why did it look kind of messed up? They literally didn't have like enough people to do the effects, like working wise, to make them as good as it should have been for how big that movie was. Because like sometimes it like kind of looks like we have better effects these days than what they used, but like storyline wise and everything, Black Panther is great. DC wise, I still like the Dark Knight trilogy the most, but if we're talking post Dark Knight trilogy, then Wonder Woman.
I loved Aquaman because just even watching him in 3D, you literally felt like you were underwater the whole time.
No, that was cool. Like, I enjoyed that movie too, but I found it kind of strange. Like, so you know, like I don't know how long they lived for. You know, like the Atlanteans, but you know, the first king of Atlantis, like created he had the the trident made for him and all that. Have you all seen this? I don't want to spoil it.
No. It's okay.
You can spoil it, I don't care.
Go ahead.
Okay, fair warning. Anyway, so he gets this trident, right? And he's like, yeah, you know, like science, blah, 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 we're good people. He's the first king, but then he literally also sunk Atlantis. So it's like, how good are you? Like, you lasted one generation before you destroyed everyone. So I was just kind of like thinking about that, and I was like, this one king, and then he put himself in exile because he did it. I thought, why don't you try to help your people that you did this to? I don't know, that bothered me. Anyways, go on. That's it.
I'm not sure if you've been following the Oscars and all that, but the Black Panther is nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, and for Black History Month, they're letting people see it for free at certain theaters, at least in America. I don't know about up here. Are they doing that up here?
Yeah.
No?
I haven't heard.
Yeah, you can go, I don't know if it's AMC, but like you can, during Black History Month, you can go see Black Panther for free in theaters, which I thought was really cool.
I think we have no AMCs left.
Toronto.
Toronto?
Yep.
Okay.
Toronto Whitby, they still have some.
Oh, right on.
They're
What do
all
you-
mostly landmark now. so.
You can, I'm here.
I was just gonna say, I had a hard time getting past Mira's heels underwater.
Oh, her heels?
She
Yeah.
heels underwater. Like,
I don't
I guess
understand
because if
that.
she's walking into a boat or something,
it
she
makes her
needed,
calves look better, right?
I guess.
she needed shoes, yeah.
I don't, some choices they make, like I don't,
Just like,
well, like I had a couple friends on the Marvel stunt show that was traveling around, like last year, and they had the person playing Black Widow in heels. It's like, she's doing stunts in a live action show. Let her have normal shoes. Like, so she has to do like aerials in heels. It's just, it raises the risk of her getting hurt exponentially for literally something no one can see because you're in a flippin' stadium. Like, people be like, yeah, Black Panther, Widow, Black something character was great, but they had normal shoes. I can't buy it. Like,
just, you telling me that, I can barely walk in heels. Normally, in
I've never
big
tried.
aerials, oh my goodness, no, you don't want to.
I don't.
No,
Right.
not enjoyable.
Nope.
And you have an insurance policy for a reason.
Right? Yeah, so that was just kind of, I don't know. When they try to like make women be womanly just for the sake of like, I don't even know why, like, let them wear what is practical. Like, if they're warrior people, they're not wearing heels. Like, why?
You should be wearing heels.
You would think. But you know, that doesn't look good or something. Yeah. That's my rant for the day.
What was your time like working on Supergirl?
That was so cool. So like, I really didn't think I was gonna book Supergirl because I was like, okay, first of all, I've done all the drugs of zero in my life. So I'm like, because I played a drug dealer in it. I was like, I'm so clean cut. They're gonna be like, you look like someone who has like a 4.0 GPA who would never touch this stuff. At least that's what I thought. And I go into the audition room, and I was kind of nervous because like this is the same casting director that cast Riverdale, that cast Arrow and Flash and Supergirl. And I auditioned for like Cisco, and I auditioned for someone on Riverdale too. And I didn't get those roles obviously, so I was like, I like this guy, but he's not, gonna take me. And then the guy who went in before me, I could hear them through the door, and they were like laughing and talking with him. And he left the room, and then they ran out and grabbed him and pulled him back in the room. And then they're like, oh, can you do it again, like this way? And so like, I was like, this guy totally got it. Like went after him and all that. I was like, so I was just sitting there, like, okay, you ready? I was like, yeah. So I go in the room and like trying to be confident, whatever, but like acting destroys you sometimes. You have to not take it personally. It's so much of it is out of your control. Like, don't get depressed. Like, people are like, oh, but you're a Power Ranger, you were in this show, this show. It's like, do you want me to tell you the 50 million shows I wasn't in that I auditioned for? Like, you only see the ones I get. So, again, like, Cisco and Flash. I auditioned for Jacob Black in Twilight. I auditioned for one of the characters in Maze Runner. I auditioned for Power Ranger Samurai. I auditioned for Sokka in the M. Night Shyamalan version. I've auditioned for all these shows. I auditioned for Wizards Waverly Place to be Selena Gomez's brother. Like, I've tried for so many shows, and I get told no so often, like it's not even funny. So when someone tells me that they go to like a normal job interview and they're all sad they didn't get it, I was like, suck it up. Like, I get told no every other day. So, whatever. That's my second rant for this. What was the question? Oh, super. Yeah. So I go to the audition room, and like the guy I know, the casting guy, he's not even in there. So it's all these people I don't know. I was like, great. So I can't be like, hey man, like, because at least I had some rapport with them. And so all the ladies in the room, like, they're like, are you ready? You have any questions? I was like, no, yeah, I'm ready to go. And so like, I was off book, and so I did the first scene. And normally after you do a scene in an audition, they either go, great, let's move on, or do you mind trying it this way? Like, there's a cut, like you move on. Literally, I did the first scene, so like this is my camera, like I'm reading to you, and whatever I say, the last line, like, oh, we should get out of here. And then like, I do the scene, and then I just stop, and I look, like no one says anything. No one says cut, no one says second scene, or do it again. So I'm just like staring, and I'm like, second scene in my brain, what is the line? And then I just start doing the second scene, and like, so I feel totally awkward, because I had like this giant pause of like nothingness. And then after the second scene, like, we had some kind of voting thing that day in America, and so they had their I voted stickers on. So like I get up and I'm like, thanks for voting, and they're like, I just leave. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. Like I'm just quitting. Forget life in acting. Don't forget life. I like living. But so that's what I felt so stupid. And before I went in the audition though, because like for me, like I'm Christian, so like I like to tithe at least 10% of what I make and stuff like that. And my mom told me a story about this guy from Africa who works as a janitor at her hospital because she's a nurse or case manager now. And he was saying that like, I guess in the village he's from, like there was an AIDS epidemic or something that happened, and like a lot of the adults died. And there's like 300 orphans in this town, in this village. And he was up next. If like all the men died, he was the next one to, like village-wise, he's supposed to take care of them. He's a janitor in America, and he's like, I can't afford to take care of all these kids. Like, but he's very, trusting in God. And like, one woman came up to him who told him like, I had a dream that God told me to give you this land I own in Africa. Maybe, yeah, Africa, yeah. And he got extra land like for these orphans, like because someone like went up and just like gave it to him. Like then he got a raise randomly, and like so God kept providing. And then like my mom told me the story. I was like, you know what? If I book this role, I'm gonna give 30% to this guy's cause. And then like, so again, like totally not thinking I was gonna book it, and I felt like an idiot leaving the audition. And then like 2 hours driving home in traffic, like just mad, like because I vent to my mom, so like we always talk about acting. I was like, there's no way I got this, so dumb. And then I got an email, and then a call, and they're like, yeah, you're on hold for Supergirl. I was like, you're serious? Like really? And like within a week, I booked it, and I was like, no flipping way. But I kept my word. I gave 30%. So like, people think actors are rich. Think about it this way: 10% to your agent, 10% to your manager, now 30% to this guy. So and then like taxes and all that stuff. And
you walk away with $50, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I felt like. So like, but the more I give, the more God blesses me back. Like truly, He does. Like people are like, how do you make it in life? Literally, give, be generous. Like not even just with money, with your time. Just give to people. Give back. Whether you get money back in your life, something always comes back. It's like, that's just how I like to live. So like, I volunteer at a circus. Like, I always make jokes. It's like, if I do something, I'm like, yeah guys, I'm here for the big bucks. Like, that's the only reason I'm here. Like, I don't get paid anything. I just teach it for free. Like, 3 times a week. I just do. Like, I like to give back because I've been given so much. And for me to like, what can I do to make myself more rich? Like, that's not what life is. Like, I like making money so I can provide for my family, but ultimately I trust God more than I trust money. Yeah.
So, you talked about all the like rejection in the roles that you auditioned for and stuff like that. So, to keep motivated, is that like what you were talking about, kind of like just having faith?
It's straight up faith. Like I feel called to be an actor, performer. Like I do some stunts too. I tried fighting it for a while. Like I taught yoga part-time, and although I like teaching yoga, like it wasn't what I felt called to do. I was just doing it, and I was too afraid to fully commit to acting. And I was like, well, I'll keep one foot in yoga in case I suck at acting, and then like I have a fallback. And literally, it was last, like, I think it was like September or October, I finally quit teaching yoga, and now I just do privates for personal training and nutrition consultation, which I also still love. And then I just audition. That's it. That's all I do, and train like myself in the meantime. And since literally the week after I did that, I booked a modeling job that came out of nowhere. It was kind of like God was like, for not being a baby and hiding in the shallow end of the pool and trusting me to take you to the deep end, you're gonna walk on water now because you're trusting me. And so like I booked a modeling job that I did a shoot for like 2 years prior. They just called randomly like, hey, we want to use you again, like out of nowhere. And then like another week later, a friend from my circus who became a stunt person who actually doubled Angelina Jolie, Cameron Diaz, Keira Knightley in Pirates, like big stunt double. And she was like, hey, you should get into stunts, like, because she came to see one of our circus shows, because she came to my circus, and that's how we connected. Didn't hear from her for months, and finally she called me one day and was like, yeah, you should audition, or send your info to this person, the stunt team, like, I think you'd be a good fit. They're looking for someone who looks like you. And so I sent my information, and then they called me the next day. Again, this was like 2 weeks after quitting yoga. I'm like, God, do what you want with me. And she's like, hey, I actually already cast that role, but I felt God telling me to hire you instead. Literally her words. And I was like, are you serious? Like, so like, I had like testimony for days, man. And so like, but you can't have the testimony without the test, you know, like things like that. So then she hired me, and she's hired me 2 other times since then. So again, I've had like all these jobs, and then I booked Supergirl. So I've done like 5 or 6 jobs in the span of a couple months, where normally I get a dry spell for like a year and I'll get 1 day. And so it's just like God's been providing, like I'm just trusting in him. I have no idea what I'm doing. People are like, yeah, you're so confident. It's like, no, man, I'm confident in God. I have no idea. Like, Jesus, take the wheel. But like, seriously, like, I'm not even looking where we're going because I don't know. But it's faith with hard work. You can't just be like, God wants me to pass this test. I'm not going to study. Well, okay, you're going to fail. Like, you know, I put in a lot of time. Like, when I get a scene, I study the heck out of it. I get it off book, verbatim, so I can like work on the character and the movement and everything like that.
For all the things you've done in life, is there something in particular that you would want to try?
Like acting wise?
Anything. Like, I want to do like military training, or go to NASA space camp, or I want to do be a race car driver, something.
Yeah, I would like to have more time to learn dance. Like I've taken ballet and like modern dance, but so not in depth enough to like be called a dancer. I want to get good at breakdancing because I feel like it would tie to my acrobatics. You know, so like dancing is on my to-do list. I would like to learn more military skills because, you know, my dad's in the military. Just like I know martial arts and whatnot, but I like being able to protect people and that kind of stuff. But I don't want to join to then necessarily be in a war that I don't think I should. If I don't think the war should be fought, I don't want to be told, well, too bad, you send your life away, go fight. Like, I don't want to shoot someone if I don't want to shoot them. Like, you know what I mean? So I just want the skills. I don't want to actually do it. So like, be an actor, and then they teach you anyway. So, you know.
Your father's in the military. Have you two ever grappled with each other, like just wrestled?
We took Krav Maga together, actually. So yeah, in a sense. And I wrestled in high school, and yeah, and I did judo. But I think we're about out of time. Is there like any more questions, real quick, or anything you really want to know?
Not really a question, kind of a request. You don't have to do it.
Then I'm not.
Would you be able to show us how you would morph?
Yeah. I don't have a morpher on me. I can pretend.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. So this is gonna be my Dino Charger for now, because it's just use your imagination.
You need a gun? I got a gun.
Sure, why not? So this is gonna be very improvisational because can I spin this?
You pretend like you are.
All right, bear with me. All right, let's do this team. All right, Dino Charger, ready? Boom, boom. Put it in that you can't. Spin it up. Energize! Ha! Unleash the power! I could, but then I forgot it. There's like something that's in like fire or something. The samba. Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.